think I'm on the air. I think you can hear me out there. Yes, I do. I'm on the radio. I'm on Facebook Live. My mic is on. The switch is up to put me everywhere I want to be. I'm alive! How you doing this morning? Just making fun of myself again. You know me. If you can't laugh at yourself, what else is left? Oh, Lord. Anyways, I'm so glad that you have decided to join me again and give me another try here this morning. Thanks for being with me right here on WCRS Radio. It is a beautiful morning out there, 74 degrees, as we just discussed. Pretty good weather. Going to get a little hot today, though, with 90-ish degrees, but nothing like we've had. So, as my James Brown painting behind me says, I feel good. That's right. Anyways, let's talk about some of the things that are out there. First off, I want to say last night I was at the John McCravey birthday party and kickoff event for John McCravey's re-election campaign. And lots of people were there, lots of different speakers. It was good to see some people. And it was good to see that things are moving forward on the on Stumbo's, David Stumbo's, heading out into yonder to see if he will be the next AG for the state of South Carolina. So he is getting ready to announce. I'm not sure when it's going to be, but it's coming up. He's going to be announcing very soon. So that'll be something to be aware of. But last night was all about John McCravey, and a lot of people from Rosalind Burke, our veterans VSO, spoke about him. Billy Garrett, Daniel Gibson, Mike Burns from the upstate made the trip down here, and a couple others that talked. Now, I've got to say I was not there early. I was there a little later, and even John gave me credit for having him on the air to talk about this event, because he goes, and people came in saying they'd heard about it on the radio. And I said, well, there you go, John. See, everybody listens to WCRS Radio. All right, so that was a good event. Got some nuggets. Got some nuggets from out of there, so that's cool. All right. And so, anyways, I want to talk about what I was talking about yesterday, but with my new eyes and new slant and new having my voice, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. Okay, well, I've got somebody else telling me it's going to be their birthday tomorrow. It's going to be probably a lot of birthdays tomorrow, but that sounds good. All right, Friday night football will be going on. Saturday football will be going on. We will have Trash to Treasures tomorrow, because the pregame for Clemson starts at 12:30, and of course we'll be carrying that. They are going to be playing Troy. It is a home game, so hopefully they will, I'm just going to say this, redeem themselves from the loss from last week. But that'll be going on. The game kickoff is at 3:30, but you can hear all the pregame, all the game, all the aftergame right here on WCRS Radio. And let's see, South Carolina is playing SC State, and that also is a home game. Might as well tell you, football games tonight are on, Emerald is on WCRS Radio. Got some great broadcasters out there on the field. We've got a good person in the studio, the producer handling it. No, it's not me. Hallelujah. But that is going on tonight. Emerald is going to have a home game against Woodruff. So that should be a good game. Of course, they're coming off of a win from last week. The Greenwood Eagles are going to be playing this evening, and that is a away game for them at Dorman. Oh, there's a tough one, Dorman. And then the 96 Wildcats will be having a home game with Blacksville Hilda? I don't know. Blacksville. Anyways, it doesn't say Hilda. It says, that does, Hilda. Blacksville Hilda. And that is a home game for, no, that is an away game, and that's an away game for the 96. So there you go. That's what's happening for some of the teams, not all of the teams. We'll try to get that in later. But Emerald will take to the airways probably right around 7 o'clock. Kickoff for that is 7:30. All right, so let's talk about some of the other things that I wanted to talk about yesterday. In fact, I did. I did a great job talking about it yesterday. Just didn't talk about it with you. All right. The issue before us here this morning is the Rex Complex signs. The Greenwood Rec Center complex, the council approved a new security cameras and signs, including a large LED message board. They'll be paid for with hospitality tax funds, since tournaments and events in the park drive visitors into hotels and restaurants. Meanwhile, extra dollars from the old capital project sales tax are still sitting, but council hasn't decided if it will help finish those older projects or go towards the new 2024 project sales tax ones. My only point on this, there are projects that, well, and the reason some of these projects, the reason there is extra money, some of them, gad, believe it or not, came in under budget, number one. But two, I think the major issue is that they collected it through the end of the period, and so therefore they had extra money come in. However, there are projects that are short, from the 2016, and simply because they were the last projects to be funded. For example, the Railroad Historic Center, the Greenwood Museum's Railroad Historic Center. And they have been working very hard, I happen to know this from firsthand, to cut any corner off of their building. They want to build a depot, which will also be an event center. It's just going to be just lovely. But they are short. Simply, I think the biggest reason is because of the inflation of the prices. I mean, after all, they turned in for this in 2016, just like so many other projects did. This project, though, being funded at the end, certainly has seen the brunt of prices increase. So they are short on funds and are trying to find other avenues to get this done. But the bottom line is that is something that council has not decided. I personally would think that council should be making a decision. Now, Stephanie Dorn did say it was in an account that was earning interest, but at what point do you make those whose projects went over or are struggling to try to finish their projects not get the money? I'm not really sure I understand that, and I will be talking to somebody to find out what the logic is in keeping that. But they did use hospitality tax funds. So I want to dive into that a little bit more for you here this morning. So the security, they picked security cameras that they want to get. They had a quote for more. Here's what I love about business. Updated quote. The updated quote was $142,890, about $8 under the available capital project sales tax budget line of $142,898. Just wanted to make sure they came in under budget. A good thing. But if they could do $8, how about can we do 10? Can we do 20? All right. Anyways, the system is was suggested by the system they're going to be using. CCNM had installed 132 cameras at the detention center in 2022, and the sheriff's office highly recommended these. So, after council clarified a vote was needed, council approved the purchase unanimously. So that was for the cameras. Now, that, according to the details of the meeting, put them out of having any extra money. So the other project was 2 lighted entrance signs, and two lighted entrance signs and 1 large LED message board, replacing the old Civic Center sign lost in a storm. You know, I hate to say this, they weren't ever going to be using the old Civic Center sign. I mean, yes, it came down during the hurricane. Actually, I had toyed with the idea of hauling that thing over here and having it stand up in the back of my lot here. I thought it would be a pretty cool piece of Greenwood Americana. But I decided, oh well, never mind. So I didn't get it. But they would have never used that sign even if it had been standing. The only thing that happened, I guess, is the hurricane took it down, so they didn't have to take it down. They just had to haul it off. But anyways, I know a lot of people shed a tear when the old Civic Center sign came down. All right. So they had received 8 bids, 6 qualified. They were from the low cluster of bids, $192,000 to $246,000, with the top one being $427,000. They decided to go with United Signs, which is out of Norcross, Georgia, based on design and price scoring. Total cost, $222,000 to put those 3 signs. Includes $30,000 of electricity or electrical expense. Funding source, they decided to use the hospitality tax funds, which had a balance as of June 30th of $1.4 million. Staff did note that the rec center has already generated $2.5 million in an economic impact since spring, making the hospitality tax an appropriate fit. Well, yes, they both, and all people that were there on council. Mark Allison was absent from the council, but United Signs, and they decided to use the hospitality signs. So they've got a design. They'll be coming back to council with the design. That's basically, in a nutshell, what happened. But some of the questions I just have is, do we need that much signage? You know, that's the other thing. Do we need this big message board? As we look at what is happening in our surrounding areas, and when I talk to members of council, my hair here. When I talk to members of council, there is a lot more development out in the hinterland. Clinton, Lawrence, Greer, Greer's doing a 550,000, I'm not going to say, but a huge facility up there to be able to have indoor sports and everything. Clinton is doing a huge development over in their area. They just sold off part of the Witten Center. Must have been they had much extra property that's going to be developed, and it's going to be developed for sports tourism. Abbeville is fixing up its area over there at the their recreation area. They're fixing up that. So there is a big push. For sports tourism. And my question, and maybe it's one I need to have somebody come in and talk to us about, is how much sports tourism is there? And they always want to make the point They always want to make the point, the council, that it was done for the local folks. It's for the local people. And I know local people are really, really enjoying it, from the playground to the all the ball fields, soccer fields, all this type of thing. But is our objective, can the two work together? I guess that would be the question. If you really go for sports tourism and everything, I know we've got a new hotel being built. That's a big plus for Greenwood. We needed more beds so we could put more heads in it, so that would be successful. But I think the real question is, do we have the facilities to be able to support this, or will people be having to stay out of town and come into Greenwood to do that? That would be number one. And number two, is it going to limit the amount of usage that regular everyday folks will be able to be out there using it? Will it be able to have the room, or are they going to need, are the folks going to be short? If we're having pickleball tournaments and tennis tournaments, and how much of that are we going to be using that for versus how much need there is by the public? So those are some questions that I think need to be answered as they go ahead and make this place the Taj Mahal of Greenwood. Just bringing that up as a point, not against it, not anything, but there's been a lot of money put into it. Of note, I do want to make sure that I know Robbie Templeton will be spending a lot more time out there now that he's retired. So that's a good thing. Maybe he'll decide he needs to work more out there and do some helpful work out there. Maybe he'll just go out there and just do more videos that we can see all the success. I say it tongue in cheek because I think it's really great, and I don't want anybody to misconstrue my comments. But I also think we have to look at all areas of the county as having people living there, and people need to have places to do things. So if that is the case, are we spending all our resources on this one big beautiful fields, or should we be spacing some of this out on some of the others? Of course, the city's pump track in that area is coming along just fine. The Grace Street Park is, as you can see, is moving right along. So that's going to be a nice added advantage. But how do you divide these dollars when there are so many other projects? And should we be spending all this money on the signage for the park, or for the facility out there? I do believe the cameras are a necessity in today's world. Unfortunately, cameras are. But I also need, from what I have heard from people, that there is a need to have, I'm going to call them monitors out there, as children are playing on the playground and parents are there and watching them, but there is nobody to say, hey, you're out of line, get off the playground. This type of thing. I do think they are going to have to hire some of these type of people. So will they be self-sustainable is my next question. And will they be hiring people to be able to have their eyes and ears and make sure that everything is going good, and be able to tell somebody, you're you're out of line, get out of the park. I have heard a couple of stories about some bullying going on out there, so that's why I bring that point up. I'm sure they're already aware of it, and I hope they are working on that aspect. All right, so that was on the signage. That's the short one, is the signage. The signage is the short one. However, the other thing that was a big topic of discussion was the roads, where we're at on the roads. Yes. and as I said, the 2016, I just want to reiterate this, has money sitting in it. It is accruing interest. Yes, you're listening to WCRS. That was our timely. It's 10 o'clock in the city of Greenwood. The fund continues to earn interest. The county actually collected more than the original $87 million planned. However, they have not decided whether to roll the surplus into the 2024 capital project sales tax or to fund some of the projects that were underfunded. I would say that we should go back and fund some of these underfunded ones, wouldn't you think? All right, so anyway, something to think about there. The roads. Greenwood County maintains 26% of all the roads in the county. That's about, I think I saw in the newspaper a different figure, but what I had calculated, 227 miles paved and 102. So that's 329, I think that's right, 329 miles. But there's a problem. At the current funding pace, it would take 35 years to resurface every road when the real goal should be 20 to 20 years, because that's how long asphalt actually is projected to last. To get there, the county would need to nearly double the road fee. Every year when you get your license plate, you pay a $26 road fee, and they'd have to double that to about $46 unless more money or the County Transportation Committee gets more money in the coffers. That's double, so that means it would be about 46, and I think I've actually got the breakdown on that too. Hospitality tax pot. Well, we're not talking about hospitality tax. Move on, Ann. Move on. Who maintains the roads? The state DOT maintains 59% of county roads. Greenwood County has 26 to maintain. As we said, that's 329 miles. Private roads, there's 102 miles of unpaved roads in the county. Then there's private roads. 9% is private, and that usually means HOAs and special districts, not government maintained. So cities, towns, Greenwood City, 96, Ware Shoals have about 5% to maintain. And believe it or not, the U.S. Forest Service has 1%. How do we get the money to do that is the question. The state gas tax, 28 cents a gallon statewide, and that's the pot for the South Carolina DOT projects, unless the legislature decides to add extra money to it. As you may know, they have added quite a bit money to it. Still doesn't seem to be that we're getting these projects done any quicker. So the federal gas tax, there's a statewide gas tax, then there's the federal gas tax, just over 18 cents a gallon. So that's what South Carolina's share contributes to highway funds. The South Carolina DOT budget for 25-26 was $2.7 billion. And South Carolina DOT all-in spend works out to $66,000 per mile. They fund more paving, so they get public grant, e.g. Publix grants, so that figure doesn't apples to apples with county paving only. So $66,000 per mile. Can you imagine? 1 mile, $66,000. County paving money comes largely from the County Transportation Committee, the CTC. Historically, they've gotten between $400,000 and $2.2 million. The average resurface that they have done here in the county is 6.38 miles. Average spent $1.3 million a year. And so the resulting cycle, 35 years to get around to do the 227 paved mile system. What they need to get to is 20-year goal, pave 11.4 miles per year, which would be about 2.5 million, which leaves them with a $168 million shortfall. Beyond the 800,000 county CTC funds, the County Transportation Committee funds. So that's a big deal, and that translates to about $27.80 added to the vehicle road fee on top of the current 26. So while this is a fee and not a tax, it is a tax because they are taking it. They can disguise it as a fee, but it is a tax. If they do nothing and the CTC only provides $800,000, the cycle stretches to 60 years, far beyond the asphalt life. Herein lies the problem. They have a very definite shortfall. Last year, some cities had decided, I guess, looking at these figures and everything, Greenville was one. I think there were some in the lower part of the state that decide. I think even Anderson looked at it. I don't know which ones passed or didn't pass, but they did decide to go ahead and use their capital project sales tax funds from last year that they set up to pave their roads because they realize the money is not there and the state is not going to provide the money. So how else can they do it? And I think most people would rather pay that extra penny of sales tax and have the roads being fixed than to not. So the bridges, we have 11 bridges here. Nine of the 11 need major repair or replacement. Estimated full need $14 million if we went in and just said, let's replace them all right now. On top of that, we don't know what the costs are going to be futuristically. Is the cost going to go down? Probably not. Are the costs going to go up over this period of time? Yeah, probably. But so the 2024 capital project sales tax will provide $4.75 million. That was budgeted through the capital sales tax. Buys 5 to 10 years of work on the worst ones, but not the full need. These are the problems that are huge problems. Our legislature needs to address it on the state level. Just throwing money at something doesn't make it work. Having the appropriate resources does make it work. Being efficient in your work does make it work. Having more companies that are doing paving is one of the things that we need. When I had I've had both Billy Garrett and John McCravey on at different times. I believe I asked him that question. And I think the answer was that having individual cities, counties, having their own paving companies is not efficient. So what is the answer? We need more of these companies. Having the state buy some of this equipment, would that make a difference? I asked all those questions. Nobody could give me a good answer on that. So then there was the question that came up about adding the private roads to the county system, and that is that would be a problem. Private network identified roughly 89.2 miles paved, 29 miles unpaved, and growing with the new subdivisions. And I think basically taking them in would increase the cost, maintenance, equipment, staffing, and inspections with the county, and the county is not in a position to take that on. So a lot of these things are a problem, and we have to come to an answer with this. That occupied a large part of county council. I've given you very much of a condensed version. The very fact is there's not enough money to get this on a schedule. One of the big answers they feel maybe would be to double the road fee, your car fee, and that might make a difference. So what do you think about this? What do you think about the fact of them doubling the road fee on the car, on your cars? would you feel that that would be a good thing or not? Would you pay a road fee to be able to have good roads? But then the question is, if we're paying more money, do we have a right to bitch when they don't get these roads done? Or are we still going to be told, oh, you got to be patient, here, folks? That's what I want to know. Are we really going to get this kicking in gear? As we said, roads are not going to last 60 years, which if we do nothing, that's what you're looking about for a paving schedule just in the county. So the county just cannot keep up with the current roads that they have. So adding these subdivisions looks like it is not going to be something that it's going to be able to do. So no formal vote was taken, treated as information with an eye to the upcoming. They're going to actually do, the county of Greenwood County is getting ready to do a strategic plan. Note, note, note. They're not going to just go, oh, where will we get the money? But it is something that needs to be discussed. The problem is, this all goes back to, 2008, when everybody got behind and started ignoring the roads because, guess what, they could ignore the roads. It's kind of like the federal government and Social Security, isn't it? We all wonder where Social Security is going, how healthy the balance is. What are we going to do to get more people inputting into it? Is it going to be a system that's going to be phased out? But a lot of the problem comes with Social Security is the federal government said, oh, we don't need that money over there. We need some money over here. We're going to take the money out there, and then they never paid back Social Security. So whatever road you go down, you better make sure it is fiscally sound. That's the bottom line, fiscally sound. So that's the big topics that I wanted to discuss with you today. I think that it is a very important subject. It did occupy a large part of the county council, and I would recommend that you start talking to your county council representatives because they are the ones that are going to have to be making these decisions. And think about every time we add a subdivision, all the costs that are added to adding a subdivision. Now, I know the county and the city, both of them want more houses because that's more taxes and, it just keeps growing. But you have to be able to support the infrastructure that you're putting in place. And one of the things that's infrastructure actually is roads. You've got to have roads. I know they're talking on the southern end of town. They're starting to bring some water and sewer out further so they can develop that side of town. That is a great thing. That's a great thing. But what about the roads? What about all these other things? Are we going to maintain and be able to keep it up? So I just wanted to point this out. It's also in the Index Journal, an article, so if you want to go back and review it. If you weren't able to stay with us for the whole show, or if you missed the first part of the show, you can always go back and watch it, listen to it right there on Facebook Live at our site, WCRS 98.5 FM /1450 AM. And you can also see it on our website, WCRS1450am.net. So check that out. People are starting to discover, I can go to Ann's website and check out all the shows. So that's a good thing. Great thing if you're traveling, want to just hear me talking, listen to me. All right. We do also have done some great interviews this past week. We had Lisa Sanders on with GPA revealing their new season. Coming up next Friday is Margaritaville Magic with Shantan and the Oyster Reefers. This is a family-friendly event. It is going to be at the Uptown Market. Tickets are $40, no charge for children. This is an event they want kids to be able to come hang out next Friday, Uptown Greenwood, 7 to 9 p.m. at the Uptown Market. So check that out. thought that'll be a great event. It's really a Jimmy Buffett tribute type show along with some of his own music. He also is going to be in some of the schools this next week. Looking forward to having him do some Jimmy Buffett and give those kids a little Jimmy Buffett experience, because we all need a cheeseburger in paradise. That's right. But anyways, that's going to be a lot of fun. Also, next Friday is going to be the concert for Voice for the Children Foundation. That is, it's really going to be a cool vibe going on. That is going to be at Legacy Church. General admission tickets are $25. The 10 to 16-year-olds are $10, and under 9 are free. So it is, the musicians are going to be, Foster the Beat. That's the name of the concert. You can check it out. It is on Facebook, and it is under Voice of the Children also Foundation to get your tickets. But it is Friday 6 to 10, doors open at 5:30. Legacy City Church, which is, as I said, over there by the hospital, 1560 Parkway Road. Purpose to benefit concert to raise funds and awareness for children in foster and kinship care. All proceeds go directly towards meeting their needs. Freddie McClendon, one of the artists, Chocolate Crackers, Justo Chaclair and Bo Fisher, Audrey Adams, and Pope and Bert. Plus, they have some junior musicians that are going to be providing entertainment between each set, too. So, very family friendly. I hope that you will consider supporting that. Even if you cannot support it, check out the Voice for the Children Foundation. They need funding to be able to get everything from diapers to help buy groceries in some cases, but it's all is funneled through. They're a separate organization, but they get their, find out who needs what through the Guardian Ad Litem program, which is the Voice of the Children Foundation, which is the voice of the children. The Guardian Ad Litem Foundation has counselors who go out and get to know the children in foster care, children that are in situations that have not been decided where the children will go. They go and get to know the children and find out what the children. They are the advocate for the child in the court situation. So that's an invaluable resource. And it's a very quiet organization. It doesn't really say a lot out there, but we need to shine the light on this organization because they are helping our children, and that is very important. So that is going on next Saturday, not this Saturday, next Saturday, over there in Hodges. They're going to have their great event celebrating 9/11. You know, 9/11 is this Thursday. It's hard to believe that it's been 20, is it, how many years is it? It's 20 some years, 2010. Yeah, 20, is it 25 years or 24 years, I guess it is. Hard to believe that we have weathered that, and we actually have children who are not aware that they did not have any recollection of this, because some of them weren't even born. A lot of them weren't even born yet, but young people that have no idea what it's about. So it's important for children to know about this as something that happened on U.S. soil. We'll talk more about that later. Tomorrow, Saturday, on what show, Ann? Trash to Treasures. That's right. We're going to be celebrating WCRS's 84th anniversary. That's right. We're going to be celebrating it with music, with commercials back from 1941. That's right. You'll hear some of the voices that made WCRS famous in this era. We've got some of the old tapes, and we'll be playing some of this. And maybe you'll remember the way things were. You might remember some of the businesses that are no more. But it is a cool. I think I'll enjoy it. I hope you will enjoy it. And we'll be previewing the music from 1941 forward. So in the blues and classic classic country. We're also going to be throwing in some big band music because, you know, that was popular in that era. We're going to be talking about some of the shows that were on in 1941. Fibber, McGee, and Molly, some of those old radio shows that we play on Saturday night. Yes, we're not going to be playing them, but we're going to mention them, and I might have a clip or two from it. So it is going to be a fun show, I hope, tomorrow. I hope you will tune in for it, at least at some part. We're not live on Facebook, but we do it on the radio and streaming at WCRS 1450am.net. Well, I think I made it through the show. I think I was live on the air, live on Facebook, and I think I'm going to say adieu because I got a meeting I got to get to. So I hope y'all have a great day. That's going to do it for me. Don't forget, football tonight. Emerald will be joining us about 7 o'clock tonight on the radio. Kickoff is at 7:30. Clemson is on Saturday. Pregame at 12:30. When we finish with Trash to Treasures, we'll be joining that. And game kickoff on Clemson is at 3:30. So, adieu, my friends. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in on WCRS Radio. And to all the people that I met last night that said I was crazy, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that comment because it's true. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye. Take it away. Cue the music, and cue the music. We're out of here. Bye-bye, everybody.